Hello and welcome to Chapter 115 of the DC Alliance podcast. With me, as always, is Clay. Clay, how you doing this evening?
I am doing really, really well. I was almost brought to tears this past week because what we're about to talk about today. Um, it looks so amazing. Just gonna say that. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. People who are on the YouTube will definitely get to see it. I recommend everybody who is listening to this go check out our YouTube channel so that way you can be here every single time we go live. We will get into all of that. But yeah, I am doing actually really well. This is really weird on a DC Alliance podcast.
You're like the
For-
exact opposite of that GIF that we always use. Like it's literally like beaming sunshine. Star Wars has like lifted you. First it was DC, then Star Wars lifted you up. Now you get attacked
I
about
know
the positive
we
DC
had
earlier in the
we
week.
had Star Wars Celebration. We had Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now I will say I am a little bit on the fence on the some of the story beats of Kenobi, but it's more so because it's just started. I need to see the full story. We'll see how it goes. DC, like, holy shit, man! This is a very rare occurrence. S-Bubs, you can uh, clip it now. I am not in deep depression. I'm not. Today, as of right now, I am not.
You have
Chris,
this to look forward to from that. Like this, we have Blue Beetle. That should be your new. I have Blue Beetle. That should be your new catchphrase.
oh, guys, it's great. I can already say right now, and this is very odd for me because of course I'm usually the guy that is very hesitant with story, with writers, with directors, everything else. Everything is hitting the right spots with this movie. But Travis, let's go ahead and move forward with everything. We'll
Yes,
get to that. It's going to be our main topic, so we'll definitely talk about it.
let's get the GUA paperwork out of the way first. Of course, we are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance with 8 podcasts in total. On Mondays is Slice of Film, and that rotates bi-weekly with Ranger Alliance. Slice of Film is with Katie and rotating guest hosts of Mark and Sarah, and Ranger Alliance has Clay and rotating guest hosts of Jake and Joe. DC Alliance is on Tuesdays with myself and Clay. On Wednesdays is Superhero Discussions with me. On Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance with Katie and Clay. On Fridays is Marvel Alliance with Chris and Brent. On Saturdays, bi-weekly, is a walk through the multiverse with Joe. But, listeners, that is going 2 weekly to cover The Boys, which is coming out this week. Yet another awesome thing. Awesome thing. So we're getting a lot of great content, Clay, this summer, and a lot of it's coming from TV. None of it's coming from DC. uh, but we love everything here at GUA. So check out Joe's show for that. I think it's going to drop on Sundays, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when he mentioned it. I know he's already said it, and I've heard it. So apologies on that, Joe. But I really do think it's going to drop on Sundays. I don't want to put the horse before the cart there if that's not the case. But yeah, so check Joe's show. It's going to go weekly to cover The Boys. And on Sundays, monthly is World's Finest True Believer with Chris Balga. That's where Chris and a guest take a look at a comic of a guest choice. That's new. That came out today. I don't know the comic. I have it downloaded, ready to listen. And maybe like many of the comics that Chris has covered with other people, it'll just spur me on to go and read the actual comic. Do you know the comic that they're reading, Clay?
I
Thought it was I Am
believe
Giant, or
no. The let's see here. The actual title of the book is "I
I
Kill
Kill
Giants." Yeah,
Giants. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Haven't had the chance to actually read that. It is on my list to read this year, but it is kind of lower on the list. So I will eventually get to it. But currently, like I said, just low on the list.
I think Chris had Mitch from Omnibuddy there, the YouTube channel, to join him for that discussion. So check that out, listeners. That's all the shows. DC Alliance goes live on the Geekverse YouTube channel. Normally it's 9 p.m. Eastern time on the Geekverse YouTube channel. Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And Marvel Alliance goes live on the Geekverse YouTube channel Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Myself and Clay used to go live with Superman and Lois on Wednesdays on the Geekverse YouTube channel, listeners. But we were just looking it up before we started to go live, and yeah. So
This show, man, I think it takes advantage of the fact that it is so good. And people will always, well, I can't say always because I feel like there are definite moments, and we've talked about it on our reviews. You can still see that it's definitely within the CW type of writing style and everything else. It's made for television. But man, these breaks, why? So it took a 3 week break, almost 4 week break,
yeah,
because the month of May has a total of 5 weeks, um, 5 Tuesdays, should I say, 5 Tuesdays, and we're gonna get the next 2 episodes, and then it goes on a 2 week break for its finale. Why would you wait 2 weeks for the finale?
Clay, since episode 9, well, it went. Episode 7 was March 8th. Episode 8 was March 22nd. Episode 9 was March 29th. Then episode 10 was April 26th. So almost a full month. And then after April, it went another episode. Then it took that whole break that we're on right now. Then we're getting another 2 episodes. Then we're getting a break. It's crazy. So I don't think we'll be covering it live anymore, listeners. We will still be doing the review episodes, but I don't think we're going to go live because it's just not fair to you guys to ask you guys to join the show live when they're doing this to us, where we have 2 weeks off and then week off and then month off. It's so you'll still get the reviews, but they won't be live anymore. And Marvel Alliance goes live on the Geekverse YouTube channel Thursdays at 9-10 p.m. Eastern time. Also, all three of those shows also have their own podcast feeds. Search Marvel Alliance, DC Alliance, or Star Wars Alliance for just Marvel content, DC content, or Star Wars content. We also have a Patreon, 2 tiers, $1 tier and a $5 tier. The dollar tier is basically your tip jar. You like what we're doing and you want to help us out any way you can. And the $5 tier is where you get your extras, you get your ad-free episodes, early access episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes. Clay, I think that's everything.
I think it is. And, we're having such a good week this week, with all the stuff that we're about to talk about. I feel like there is somebody who isn't having such a great week, though.
Yeah. Somebody who was having a great last 3 years. I tweeted the GIF to people, listeners, The Simpsons, where Homer thinks about if he would ride, if he was, what would happen if he ride the Quickie Mart because he has a gun, and he's sitting on the rocking chair wearing a senator robe, sash, and Marge is dancing in a bikini, and he's behind a big mansion. And that's essentially what J.J. Abrams has been like for the last couple of years, because now that Discovery has taken over, they're looking behind the, like, under the hood on all the financials. And suffice to say, since we have gotten nothing from him so far, I think they're questioning the deal, Clay, and the value of that in its entirety.
I need actual proof of this. Has J.J. Abrams made any WB or HBO Max content in the last 3 years? I am attempting to
He's an
look it up
executive
here.
producer on a lot of things. So, Little Voice.
But what I'm saying is, particularly WB content. Has he made anything with that $250 million that they wrote?
Season 3 of Westworld. He was an executive producer on.
Okay, Westworld was already something that was made before his contract, though.
He did Challenger, the final flight, 4-episode miniseries on Netflix, though.
Okay, so that's not WB. Is it a WB property?
Lovecraft Country is HBO Max.
Oh, but that was J.J. Abrams.
He's executive producer on that.
Okay.
And Lisley's Story and UFO are the two that are out in 2021 that have 4 episodes and 1 season. Seems like both of those are miniseries. I could be wrong on the Lisley Story. Let me see. I think it's just a mini. Yeah, it's a novel based on a novel. So I don't know if that's WB, but
No, that's
yeah.
Apple TV Plus.
Well, especially when it comes to the DC stuff, Clay, it mentions in the
All right,
article.
so All on a Game is saying Castle Rock. Is that a
Yeah.
WB property as well?
No, that's his producing company is Castle Rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess anything that Bad Robot has made,
Bad Robot is Bad
yeah,
Robot.
everything that Bad Robot has made is technically owned by WB now,
Yeah.
or contracted by whatever the terminology. So he has turned out some stuff, but I feel like there is a lot of assumptions going on with this deal of $250 million, especially with the names like Zatanna, Swamp Thing, Justice League Dark, and Constantine being thrown out ever since this deal was made. We
It
kept on hearing
says
rumblings,
it says
right?
sources note that Warner has seen scripts for Constantine and the pilot of Madam X.
Yes, and Madame Xanadu was also one.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, that's what they
But
yeah.
but the last thing we heard about Zatanna was that it only had a writer. Um, no idea who was going to direct it, and honestly, I think the writer should be directing because she can direct also. I know that Travis Hines was a really big fan of her work. I think from 2000, well, last year, 2021. I can't remember the uh, Promising Young Woman. Is that the movie?
Travis Snell.
Oh, did I say Hines?
Yeah.
So
That's
yes.
not me. I haven't
Sorry.
seen that.
I think let me actually Promising Young. It was back in 2020. Sorry.
Yeah.
So she was connected to Zatanna. We're hearing all these things about Constantine. There was rumblings of Justice League Dark, possibly something with Swamp Thing. Absolutely nothing has been updated for at least a year. At least, maybe. So, well, we did get a casting, right? Didn't we get a casting of Constantine?
Well, no, I think it was rumored, and I know that the only thing that I've seen from him is that he jumped on to do that Batman Cape Crusader with Matt Reeves. I know he's
Mhm.
an executive producer on that. He was on the DC fandom.
He was in fact a executive producer for the new Batman cartoon that's coming out sometime. Is this supposed to be later this year?
I don't think it's going to be later this year. I don't think people are. I think people are writing. Who were they writing? Jay Oliva about something. I think Aaron Reed did animate it, and he replied, "Do you guys realize how long it takes to do animation, especially if you want to do good animation?" But now they could be using a style, Clay, especially with the noir feel that they're giving. They could be giving doing a style that is easy to put out.
Yeah.
So, well, not easy. I don't want to undercut anybody's actual, but easier, we'll say,
Yes.
than
Yeah.
very
Yeah, for
sophisticated.
sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like Zaslav is definitely seeing the lack of content made by JJ Abrams that is turning an investment, you know?
You know what I think too, Clay, is he's seen Keanu Reeves say like, you know what, I'd love to come back and play that character, and I bet he's looking like, guys, like we got a big mega movie star here that wants to come back and play this character, like, and okay, if there was something being done with this character, I could understand, but we have nothing on the docket here where we could set this up. This could be a Joker style thing with Keanu Reeves. Like you could get a, I'm not saying obviously Joker, but that kind of cheap production for and big money, not $1 billion, obviously. That's a rarity. But you know what I mean? Like you could spend 50 million and make 500. I don't know. It's just I feel like he sees that and he's like, my God, we have this property here. What's being done with it? And that might even cause him to check and see, like, okay, what's J.J. Abrams
Well,
has it? What's he doing with the rest of
what
this
I
stuff?
honestly think is going on is I think Zaslav has said, "Hey, give me the list of all the current projects that are in production currently, and give me some that are in pre-production."
Or in
Cool.
development,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, in development. He's seeing this list, and he is seeing every name attached to these characters, attached to these properties, and he's probably seeing a lot of J.J. Abrams, and he's seeing a lot of delayed, on hiatus, canceled, a lot of stuff that is not actually close to being actually released.
Clay, he's probably looking across the spreadsheet, being like, "Okay, JJ. Ooh, looks like we're getting a lot of bang for our buck. He's really doing a lot for like WB here. Look at all the projects he's state claim to. He must be roaring." And then you go across to status, delayed. I'd say that
Now,
caused him to crack his pen.
now again, we're cracking all of these jokes. We don't know exactly if this means that JJ is getting the boot, right? We
No,
we
I don't. I
don't
think
know
that's a
that.
little premature because of the bidding war that's out there for content still.
Yes. Now I do think what could be worse than that is Zaslav is saying, JJ, get on this stuff, which means some stuff may actually be rushed, may be pushed. Now, there's some things that maybe you pushed ahead than others. One thing that I didn't know, though, his creator-owned TV show that he's wanting to do, an original series for HBO Max, has a series, not a movie, a series for HBO Max, apparently has a wanting budget of $200 million.
What's he plan on doing?
I have no idea. So my co-host for Batman News Weekly and I were talking the other day about this and what it means for all of these DC characters. And he was the one that told me that there was this wild number out there for this budget for this creator-owned series. And I'm thinking, JJ, you got 250 million for just being there, for being a part of each project, and now you're asking for $200 million
Well, let's
for
be
one TV
fair
series?
too. Bad Robot employs people as well, so they have to, and they have projects going on. So he has to fund that production company. Now, obviously, that's minuscule in the $250 million range, but still, I don't know. Not reliable says in the chat could be the largest revamp forever for a new start for DC. I don't know about that because we have several properties in the can already: Aquaman, The Flash, Black Adam, Shazam. We have Batgirl done for the HBO Max that will definitely go to theatrical after what Zazlav's comments. Same thing with this Blue Beetle. This is filming right now. They're not going to shut down production and say, "Hey, we're starting over and doing a
No, but
complete
I
revamp."
do think that he could possibly be rushed into being a part of the new revamp, like I've been saying, like in the sense of DC really starting this new, look on how they start creating content.
Yeah, but this could be like the Guardians type section where it's just off on its own, his stuff still, and eventually interacts with the whole like greater DCEU, but
Yeah.
it has a chance to breathe. Like the Guardians had two films before they were interacting with. Yeah, Guardians had two. I had to make sure their mental check on the MCU timeline. Guardians had two movies of their
Before
own
Infinity War.
before
Yeah.
Infinity War, so they had their own chance to breathe before they interacted with any other characters. And I would kind of like Justice League Dark to do the same thing there. But like me and you both want this greater DCEU as a whole. I think anyway, from
Yeah.
our discussing. We were pleasantly surprised with Peacemaker. So I hope that he does light a fire under JJ, and because I've been waiting. This is getting a little annoying, if I'm being honest with you, Clay, because uh, they said, all right, we're going to start with Matt Ryan being Constantine. Obviously, I'm kind of glad he got put out of his misery on Legend because he wasn't even being Constantine at the end. But it's just give me a new Constantine. I like that character. That character should do very well if you have the right person, actor, and the right script and story. So let's hope this kind of lights a little fire under him because he has a lot of people working for him too. So yeah, I don't know how much of a demand this is going to really put on him.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, the fact that he has been holding on to these characters was really irritating.
Yeah.
And again, not sure if this means he's getting the boot, but if he is starting to, Zaslav is starting to light that fire under his ass, then good. We got rid of a really good Swamp Thing show and then saw J.J. Abrams was coming, and we thought, hey, this could be us coming back to Swamp Thing.
Or this is the reason why Swamp Thing. This is part of the reason why. Obviously, budget
Exactly.
was a thing
Exactly.
too. But that was a
So,
damn
but
great
we haven't
looking.
seen anything of these characters at
No,
all. So I definitely want to get that up and going so that way we can see a bigger start to like we said, a greater DCEU for sure. But are we ready to talk our main topic now? Can can
well,
can, can, can
you're gonna have to hold it just a little bit longer
no tra-
because you
God,
added, you wanted to add this JJ stuff, so that we got to wait to talk about one of your favorite actors, like who you think has the greatest range of all time, Dwayne Johnson and Black Adam, because he released on his Instagram post, because obviously pictures are our theme of the week. He had to release it in a picture where he's on a throne, reading a
is he on a
script.
is he on a throne or is he just like sitting on like steps? Let
I
me go
think he's
back.
well. I think he's next to the throne there. He's right next to the throne. I think that's the throne behind him. I'm not sure, because he does mention the throne in his post too, saying like I wouldn't sit on the throne until we had this right. But he did reveal in his post, he said, for the millions of you who know the Black Adam mythology, you understand the meaning and the power of this throne. I made a promise to myself that I would not sit on the throne until we shot the actual scene where Black Adam has earned his right to take his sacred place on high. So I always just sat there at the steps and did my homework. We finally filmed the iconic moment, and what a moment it was. World premiere of the Black Adam trailer, June 8th. So he had to say all that first before he said the Black Adam trailer. Hurrah! But Clay, how excited are you for this trailer? And more importantly, what do you expect to see slash hope to see?
Hines, why can't we get a trailer on a Monday?
I
Why?
think
Why?
the prevailing theory in the GUA chat is that DC hates DC
Hates me.
Alliance.
Hates me. 100% hates me. Like I'm gonna get the Rock mention acting as Black Adam. Exactly.
Method acting, yeah. He S Bubs, that's how he's going to really bring forth the performance to take Clay to the next level.
All in the game. So much hype. What if it sucks? That reminds me of the movie Fanboys, where they go and watch the Phantom Menace at the very end, and they're like, "Oh shit, what if this movie sucks?" Um, I I'm excited for this movie. Heinz, we've talked over and over again about the one phrase that Daniel RPK has hit us with when it comes to the action of this movie.
Look at combos. Don't forget the film plus the animated show, because the
Yes.
film took those vibes as well.
Yes. And it very much was like, okay, this is going to have DBZ, Dragon Ball Z type fighting in this movie. That is already on a very high pedestal. You were setting an expectation that I will tell you right now, as of right now, as far as comic book movies go, the closest thing to that was Man of Steel.
I was just about to ask you if I said Man of Steel had like I wouldn't even say like paid homage to Dragon Ball Z, because I can't say it's exactly like it, but there's a hell of a lot in the air
It had
fighting.
it had moments
Yeah.
that was similar to it, but I need to see more. I think as far as comic book fighting, I think Man of Steel still holds the top bar for that. Um, if Black Adam does it, it can very much be on my list as great DCEU movies on the same bar of Man of Steel. But I need to see it. On the game says and parts of the third Matrix movie. Um, man, I haven't seen the third
That's
Matrix movie
exactly
in
right too, Al, in
forever.
the game. That is he is right. While the story is a little messy for me at times, it is the action in that is pretty crazy, like just for what they did at the time.
S Bubs, do not put this bad juju into the DCEU.
I
Stop it. Stop it.
to be honest with you, Clay, I'm not even Black Adam is probably the least of the things that I'm excited for, looking forward to. I want to see the JSA. I want to see the JSA, every one of them. I think that a lot of them have spin-off potential or getting their own DC
Well,
shows because
let's be completely honest though.
after the success of Peacemaker, there is definitely a avenue for some of these films to have some of their characters go off on, especially an ensemble cast, have them
and
go
and
off
and
on
doing
their
their
own.
own spin-offs and whatnot. Yeah. But let's be honest, we were all here in the Geekverse YouTube channel for the Mortal Kombat-esque trailer that we saw for Black Adam, the teaser at DC Fandom. And we were hyped for it. We're like, yeah, sure, let's go for it. I want to see more of this badassery. And from that, I know that it's going to be brutal, but I need it to, like, again, you have that high expectation for me. You need to succeed in that.
Now, I will say too, there were rumors that Hardcourt was going to
Yes,
show up in
she,
this film, and that just gave me a little light bulb of maybe that's how this person gets a spinoff, part of the ensemble, part of the JSA. Maybe I could be wrong entirely, but that is a thought now because just the success of Peacemaker blown me away, and the fact that it connects to the greater DCU is what I think every like the project that's what they're going to look for, which is I don't know, Clay. Doctor Fate. I want to see some cool. I want to see some cool Steve.
Steve Agee pretty much confirmed that she's in
Yeah,
it.
I want to see some cool Doctor Fate. I want to see Hawkman. Are you kidding me? And
Well, wasn't there
Atom
still
Smasher.
rumblings of a Hawkman and Hawk Girl show?
I don't believe that for a second. They didn't even last a season on Legends.
Let you keep going. I'm going to see where that rumor came from, and then we can see on where we will believe. Because I mean, sources can be pretty reliable sometimes.
I'm
But let
really curious how this trailer is going to go, though, Clay. Like, are they going to go the traditional route of telling the origin, like kind of origin-ish of Black Adam, just showing him because that devotes a lot of time? Will there be just another trailer that will focus on the JSA and give us more of a look at them, and then this trailer, or will we just see? I think, or, because all we got in the teaser for fandom was just flashes of each character. We didn't even see them really do a hell of a lot, really.
yeah,
So like Hawkman spread his wings, and we saw Atom Smasher big. So I hope that we get to see some of that, but I don't know. The trailer would have to be 3 minutes to really showcase something like that.
yeah,
If you want to give each JSA member at least 10, 15 seconds, that's a minute there in the trailer. If you give four of them, Dr. Fate, Hawkman, Cyclone, and uh, Atom Smasher. If you give
yeah.
just four of them 15 seconds, that's a minute.
Well, I don't think that it'll be a mix. It's not going to be like, hey, this is Hawkman, hey, this is Cyclone, hey, this is Dr. Fate. It'll be a mixture of things. I do think so. We got a highlight of all those characters already in the first trailer, right? In the it wasn't really a trailer; it was more of the showcase behind the scenes stuff at
Yeah.
fandom, right? So, oh well, no, I guess.
It was like we saw like
Oh,
the
do you know what it was?
Camp Nelson holding the mask.
It was the "We Can Be Heroes" thing,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So there was that. Um, so I guess you could say this is going to be the showcase of all the heroes, for the official trailer, because we've only gotten a teaser first, and then this could be the official trailer to show everybody, and then possibly the villain.
Yeah, so you are you not expecting to see the villain in this trailer? Because I'm not.
I am willing to say we will.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm willing to see that. I'm willing to say that we will see a a hint at a villain to the point where we can probably guess and then probably confirm our guess, or we will actually see a villain showcased.
And sorry, Nathan in the chat says Detective Chimp cameo. I don't think so unless we want to see Barbecued Chimp from Black Adam. Uh, because what he did to that one bad guy, that was so badass. It was better than almost anything I saw in Mortal Kombat, if I'm being honest with you.
I'm. It was a freaking fatality, man. It was great.
It was
So
awesome.
I definitely think that it's something that we will see for sure.
Awesome. So, Clay, I won't hold it back any longer. We're here. I'll let you intro and talk about this for a little bit, for a little bit, a lot of it, to gush about how awesome this is, and then I'll give my couple
Guys,
cents. But the floor is yours.
I opened my Twitter account randomly on this day, and it was literally the first picture. It wasn't like I'm scrolling or anything and I see it. Literally, the first picture that loaded onto my Twitter feed was this glorious high definition photo of blue fucking Beetle. It wasn't Sholo playing Blue Beetle. I saw fucking Blue Beetle just walking the streets of Atlanta. And my God, this is the best DCEU costume that I have ever seen in all of the years of the DCEU since 2013. It has been almost 10 years. This is the best costume. I'm actually going to share my screen and we can look at it together right here. Oh, wait,
That's
hold on. Hold on. There we go.
My eyes. At least we didn't have super high definition TVs back when that was out.
Guys, look at this thing. It is great. To the point, if you zoom in on this thing, the detail on the mask, and you think, okay, it's just black, it's just blue, it's yellow. No, you look in, if you zoom in on your phone, you can see every small little crevice of detail on this black mat on his face, here on his neck, on all of his shoulder and chest pieces. It looks amazing. Amazing. We got some other photos here of actual Sholo showing up without his helmet in the Blue Beetle costume. We got another one of what we have here on the background with us, where he is adjusting some of his scarab back pieces here. I think some of my favorites, though, we're going to see practical effects, practical costume. This is like this is the thing. This isn't now. I think there may be a possibility, maybe you could still animate the eyes. I think you could possibly still do it. Maybe. But I don't see any of the black dots around him. They may have embedded something into this black mat piece on his helmet. So who knows? But as of right now, there is no whatever the black dots for the animation of the eyes. But this is a full practical suit. It looks amazing. There's actually a video right now. We're looking at the picture where Blue Beetle is falling down on this crushed car. We actually see there's a video out there of them crushing the car beforehand. Here he is laying down on the car itself. Dude, I am just gushing. It's amazing. I have found my favorite live action depiction of a hero. This is great.
Just imagine when you actually get the actual film with the actor as well, like owning the part. Clay, I agree with you. This looks fantastic. Like, it's not my favorite DCEU suit. Like, I think maybe Superman's Man of Steel might be mine, but this is the most difficult and best suit in the DCU. I think just because of difficulty and how fantastic this looks. There's no CGI in what we're looking at right now, and it looks so comic accurate. It's awesome, Clay, and just like the fact that the representation getting it's going to be a feature film. You and I both know that. Like, it's not going to be on HBO Max, just from what Zaslav said. So, and he wants to increase the number of films that they produce every year, and DC is a focus. So and when you see stuff like this and see the reaction, like see Blue Beetle trending, who rarely ever trends, you're like, okay, yeah, we're on to something here. We can tap into a network. We have a young star. So I get excited for this, Clay, because I have been saying
Blue Beetle can be one of two things or a combination of both. It can be DC's Spider-Man, the coming of age story, whatever, or because of the high-tech scarab and how Blue Beetle works, this could be DC's Iron Man. And people may hate me for making those two assumptions, but we cannot deny the popularity of those characters since the birth of the MCU.
I would the hero Iron Man abilities, yes. The Tony Stark character, no. Like obviously that's not what you meant there. But uh like in terms of just his sheer capabilities, for sure. I wonder, I have a couple questions for you. Do you think that they will CGI this up a little bit to light it up?
I think that
And
we
his
will.
weaponry?
I think that so. If you notice on all of the pictures, let me actually scroll up to see some more of these. There is not a whole lot of the like quote unquote armor around the forearms, the fingers, or the biceps at all. And I think that is because they're possibly going to be using the arms more like how, of course, the animated series and Young Justice does with being able to morph into things. I think that we're going to be seeing a lot of this in probably practical as well. He'll probably come up with a gun, but they'll be able to CGI the transformation into it.
Ooh, that's not too bad at all. I didn't think about that. That's a good idea. The other thing, do you think we'll see Ted Cord start off the film and getting killed, or will this completely not involve Ted Cord at all?
So this kind of goes into the conversation of one of the questions we had from Stu. Let me actually bring that up real quick. Stu had this question.
I have it right here.
Says, do you want the Blue Beetle movie to have the mystical stuff, the Rebirth series included, or if you just want to focus on the Scarab being alien technology? That's the first question. So I personally like the idea of alien technology. The reason why is you can go in a little bit more into the hardcore sci-fi things. You can kind of make it a little terrifying. I don't know who, I can't remember who said it, and I can't really find a good picture currently.
I have
Um,
an idea that I want to throw by you.
there's a picture of them filming, and this scarab on his back looks pretty freaking huge. I feel like there might be some horror aspects when the scarab attaches to Jaime.
I have kind of an idea, Stu, that I want to throw to you and Clay. What about if he learns of uh, the mystical stuff at the very end of the film after he's vanquished the foe? Have this film as a self-contained story on Earth, but him finding out at the end that this is actually alien technology and finding out the mystical stuff, finding out the mystical stuff behind it as well.
I think there could be an integration of both. Um, it all really depends on how crazy they want to go with it. Um, I think it may be a little heavy-handed for wanting to integrate both. I think you just pick one and go with it.
Well,
So
you can
that way
always
it's
go to another one too. If you don't pick the alien, you don't pick if you don't pick the mystical stuff, you can always go back to it at some point if you get multiple movies. If this is
yeah,
a
yeah.
success,
You
right?
could definitely just like have the scarab, it attaches to him, whatever, and then come to find out, hey, you can just say, oh, this was created from Dead Core.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't matter. Um, but there's also rumor of who's going to be playing Tech, where somebody shot that down. There's
Who
been
pretty.
Was
I,
correct twice a day, or right? Is
I'm
that
not a big fan of Poopy Pants either, but he's been right on every. He's broken every casting for this film. I will say that. I give him credit. He gets everything.
But I think that you easily make that. I think to one part of you believe we were used. They were not a and DC party. Two guys knew each other before they were DC. So it does make sense for them to interact some. With Peacemaker being the character that he is, and then Sholo being in a coming of age teenage story, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I do think that they'll probably want to make Blue Beetle a completely different film. This is going to be a film for the family, you know?
That's what I want them to focus on, which is why I'm scared that if we get into the mystical, if we go further than Earth, or I don't want that to take away too much of the story, which is why I would like for them to get into that stuff in the second film. Like focus on him and family. It's hard to do when you have the scarab talking to you. It's hard not to dive deeper into that, Clay, like where that all comes from. So I don't
So
know.
there is let me actually see if I can find it first. Um I I think it was called Star Child. Is it Star Child? No, it wasn't Star Child. There was a movie, Star Kid. Yeah. So if you guys look up Star Kid is basically the exact same thing as Jaime Reyes's Blue Beetle. It featured the kid from the original Jurassic Park. He got this. Uh, Let me actually see if I can pull up the picture here. I don't know if you know this movie whatsoever.
Nope.
All right, so I got it here. Share screen. So this is Star Child or Star Kid. Sorry, I keep saying child. So this here, it's some alien technology. This kid is in the suit and he's being really silly in it. And I feel like you can kind of get that same vibe from Jaime being in the Blue Beetle costume. Of course, like I said, I still think you can get into the kind of wickedness and sci-fi scariness when he first interacts with the costume. But once he gets the idea of like, oh, I can be a superhero, it can kind of get a little bit more lighthearted. And that's where I want this movie to stay, to be completely
Okay,
honest.
take that off the screen now, please. That's the creepiest shit. What? What? Who would buy that VHS? Like, I would never think. I
Oh, it
looked at.
was probably one of my favorite movies as a kid.
I hope you didn't buy it because you saw the case. Like, that robot looks like something. It looks like they turned the kid into a Terminator. Like that robot, him trying to smile. No, not a good thing. There's the stuff of horrors there.
Oh man, no, it was great. It was really really good. But yeah, I don't know how much like I would just be saying the same thing constantly over and over and over again. We could move on, but I'm just really excited
I'm glad for
about
you,
Blue
Clay.
Beetle.
Like, it's just it. Like I said about Batgirl too, it just seems like we got lucky in the sense that these projects were on HBO Max, and they were just. It seems like they were left to do whatever they wanted. Like like obviously you couldn't balloon your budget, but they could do the story they wanted and focus. It seems like they can do what they want, and I'm super excited for both these projects. And I think they're both going to go theatrical. Uh, so yeah, props to Blue Beetle for bringing Clay, the positive Clay out to DC Alliance.
It's I it's very rare. You probably won't see this side of me for another year. until this
I
movie
almost
comes out.
accidentally ruined it too, listeners, by telling them about the 2 breaks that Superman and Lois go on. He was like,
Oh my god,
"What?"
man. It's but again, like I said with Black Adam, I think that I can still be excited for what that movie can be. I'm still excited for Shazam. I love the first one. It's the you know, I was fine with Aquaman. I love that movie. For the I think Aquaman brought in a lot of the fantastical, like comic book come to life type of on screen that I love. And I think the only one that I'm really worried about is Flash. Like, to be completely honest, now
Well,
looking at everything.
that's a pretty good segue, Clay, because we got some set pictures as well from the Flash. It was a showcase, Flash and Supergirl, and I guess I'll share my screen for the first time here, listeners. If you're on the live YouTube channel, uh,
So I got
it
some questions about this costume. So this right here, why in the world would they display the Flash's costume like this?
what do you mean like this?
It legit looks like Ezra Miller probably could not put his hands down to his side for the entire movie. It looked stiff.
I
That's what
think
it
it does look that way. I'll agree. It looks super stiff, whereas the Supergirl one looks just very like form fitting and would go like wouldn't be you wouldn't be walking around like I know exactly what you're saying. It looks like somebody who runs and doesn't move his arms. Uh,
exactly. I just don't know. It looks very odd.
I like the look of it. I know the
Now,
people have questions about the circle
the web
thing right
shooter,
here. Yeah, the uh, and it's only on his left hand. So I'm wondering what that could be. So that it could
well,
be some
hold on,
Star Wars,
zoom
Star
in again.
Lab,
No,
Star
zoom in
Lab
again.
related. Can't say
Okay.
you can only zoom in once.
Okay, never mind. I thought I could see a ring on his finger. I was thinking maybe it was like what the uh like where the ring is stashed in or something, or like where
That could be it as well,
something as
Clay.
far as the mechanism that comes out of the ring or whatever. Um but I want to like this costume. I want to. I know Brent is like, "Oh, that's so much better than the costume he had before." It's the headpiece. It's the awkwardness of how wide the nose and mouth area are for this headpiece. And I understand that it is very much like the what is the Winter Olympics
Speed skating.
speed skating. Yes. It is very much like that. I mean, that's what Zack Snyder uh was inspired by when he had the style of the way
Yeah,
Flash runs in Justice League. But I don't know. It looks awkward. The Everything else looks good. I'm a little worried again about the arms. But my question is, I genuinely want a genuine answer here, and I feel like you will give me a genuine answer. But I saw, and I feel like it's a lot of butthurt individuals complaining about this Supergirl costume.
what would I complain about? Because I think it looks absolutely incredible.
They're basically calling it dog shit because it like is apparently like a like thrift store version of the Man of Steel suit, which I think is bullshit.
I think
Uh,
that helps me because I have a lot of those crazies blocked, so I don't see that sentiment. Like sometimes when I'll get on a post, DC post, it'll scroll down and be like unmute, or unblock. I'm like,
I've seen a
made
lot
the
of
right,
that recently.
made the right call. So I like the suits. I like both of them. I think that obviously the Supergirl one looks way better than the Flash, but I think the Flash one needs to be seen on the TV on the big screen. Uh, like on a screen to see the CGI work that goes with that, because there may be a reason for the way that it looks, like when you animate the electricity going through it as well, because we know that that's going to be part of the suit where the electricity is coursing through the suit at different times. So I'm just curious to see the final look. It doesn't look fantastic or anything. It's not like the Supergirl suit or the Blue Beetle suit or this next suit we'll talk about. It's a very worrisome for me. I'm not worrisome, but it gives me apprehension. I'm not fully sold on it, but
I
I
think we need.
know there's a lot of CG work to go through that.
I think with Supergirl, it's very unfortunate, but I do think she is going to be a little bit of the background. You know, I think
Yeah.
she has very important parts in this movie, but I do think she's going to be in the background. And so I do think she has time to get an improved suit. So that
I
way, when
don't see
she is
anything wrong with that.
showcased, she can have like a big shining moment. And I
I
do
think,
think she's going to have that moment in here also. So
yeah,
don't try to misquote me or anything. I do believe that she is going to have a great time in this movie.
I think when she gets that suit is going to be a big moment, because I don't think she's going to start off with that, and I think she's
Oh,
going to find
she
that.
will.
Ooh,
I think this is uh, a multiversal Supergirl, not on the original Earth. I think she is a Supergirl from a different Earth that is going to be within the new DCEU.
super excited to
Yeah.
see how this turns out. But I enjoyed both suits. And Clay, we have one other suit to talk about this evening. And I have one question to ask you, because I'll share my screen and we'll talk about this last one. Uh, Black Manta has obviously his suit is awesome. It's a little bit more slimmed down to me, this version.
Uh-huh.
But this trident that he's holding here, is there any comic precedent for him having a magical trident, like getting a antithesis of
So,
what Arthur has?
in the beginning of 2022, I recently read the Jeff Johns run of Aquaman that ran for, I believe, 4 volumes.
They took a lot of
Now,
stuff from that,
they
apparently.
did take a lot of stuff from that. Now, I will go ahead and say this: Manta did not have a trident; he had a scepter,
Oh, okay.
almost like in Avengers,
Yeah.
the way that Loki had his scepter.
Yeah.
They could, of course, change it into a trident for this movie. I think it's very, very cool looking. My thing is, this is the wrong angle for it, but there is a picture that shows Black Manta from the front. These very awkward, like hips don't lie side pieces on his calves. I don't get aesthetically what they're there for.
They could be weapons come out from there. Uh, Maybe. I can't see it from here. I'll need to see, because this is the only one that I've saw.
They just look very awkward in the sense of like they make his legs look so fucking huge.
And honestly, Clay, if I'm being honest, that was probably the one. Actually, both him and Aquaman, I don't think they need to do anything with their suits. I thought they both looked exceptionally well in the first film.
For real. I
Yeah,
mean,
like
of
it's one of
course,
those ones.
Manson needed a new helmet by the end of that
Yeah,
movie. But
and
I definitely think that uh again, like I said, the fantastical part of the first Aquaman movie was the fact that everybody had their costume directly taken from comics. It
that was
was
amazing.
it was great. Yeah. So I'm glad to see improvements, even though I don't believe there really needed any.
Now, there's a
Um,
practical reason, like in the story for Black Manta too, for the like just increase your speed to fight Aquaman. Like a
yeah.
slimmer down version would
Where was
help you.
Mara's costume in that showcase?
It's only a couple minutes. She's only in the film for a couple minutes, Clay. Like that was the thing we got revealed. Thank you guys for revealing that. But it's a pretty maniacal laugh. So
I'm
that's
sorry.
I think that's
Oh,
all the news, Clay. That's everything we have. We have one random listener question, because we already got through the first one, and I will read it out because it was certainly a little odd, to say the least, from Jason from DC on screen. He asked, well, he said, I heard it's sinister. What is the true purpose of aglets? And I had to ask you what they were first, Clay. So you want to tell the listeners as well?
So, how do you spell it? It's AGLETS.
LETS.
Aglets, I believe. I am pretty sure on this. I'm pretty confident in this. I am pretty sure aglets. I'm actually grabbing my shoe here. I'm wearing Skechers, old man shoes, so they don't have the ends of your shoelaces. But if you look at the ends of your shoelaces, that little plastic piece, that metal piece, whatever you're gonna have at the
You're
end
right.
of your shoelace is aglets. Now, what the actual purpose for those are, I have no absolute idea other than the fact that it helps you weave through your shoe to be able to tie them. That's my reasoning.
Well, I first thank you, Jason, because this led me down a Reddit rabbit hole to try and figure out what aglets had to do with DC. And, you know, in Reddit, somebody always asks questions like that. And someone wrote, what is the sinister purpose of aglets? And someone responded, and I'm just going to read just a little bit what he said here. He said, if you want to assume there's an evil conspiracy involving aglets, there are numerous evil plastic and petroleum companies within the DCU, most prominently Stag Enterprises, that created Metamorpho. It is possible that one or more of them has a long-term scheme tied up with the production of aglets. That in turn could be anything from simply creating an artificial demand for aglets, or the aglets could be eradicated in such a way that they show up on spy satellites or they explode.
This is an actual post that you are reading?
Somebody took the time to post that a year ago. So
that's amazing.
That's what we got. That's a DC oriented answer we got for you. Blame Stag Enterprises, Jason.
But it mentioned everything to Metamorpho and everything else.
Yep.
I feel like that's Jason. Jason probably put that on Reddit.
Jason, if you're Blast Wave, because it doesn't say who actually posted by Shine Perfect, so I don't think that's Jason. But
Blast Wave Perfect on the weekends,
Blast Wave seems to have the aglets story down and what's on the go with the aglets. So, yeah. Thank you for that. That was fun, Clay. I think that's all we have here today. We have a Superman and Lois episode coming up in a couple days, so yay for that. Another episode after that, and then yay hiatus again. So 2-week hiatus, and then we'll get 2 more episodes for the end of the season. So we'll see what happens in these next 2 episodes. I'm excited to see them, but kind of got to probably watch the previous episode to refresh myself because it's been that long.
Yeah. No, I will probably watch the last episode before it airs tomorrow, with the new episode, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. As far as when we will be able to throw that out there, because we're still very much in the middle of Kenobi, so we'll see how all of that goes. Can't make any promises that it will drop on Wednesdays like we usually had it, or Thursdays like we usually had it. But we will get it out there for you guys. But thank you so much to everybody who is in the chat. Very, very lively. Nathan on the game, S-Bubs, Not Reliable. Thank you so much for being there. And of course, you can always find me at Fanboy Clay on Twitter. I made a meme for freaking Blue Beetle reveal, and it's been doing great. I actually really love that. But you can always find me at Fanboy Clay on Twitter. Go into the bio there on that Twitter page. You can find the link tree to all the shows that I host, that including DC Alliance, Batman News Weekly, Ranger Alliance, and of course Star Wars Alliance.
And you can find me on Twitter at Travis_156. You can drop me a line. We can chat about DC anytime. I also host superhero discussions on the network. We're in the middle of Young Justice. We're almost at the end of that, so really excited get ready for that. A couple more episodes. Clay, this has been fun. Listeners, thank you, and we'll see you next week.
See you later.